BMW just updated its flagship model, the R1200GS. It's not a new model, it's just a facelift. But there are some differences. At the first sight, you'll notice a visual update. But is it just that? We try to find out in a comparison between the old and the new version. And we have a special guest, Matei, BMW Motorrad certified instructor, a GS specialist. Hello Matei, thank you for joining us. So what do you think about these beauties? Which one do you like the most?
I like every GS actually, and the nicest thing is that the GS is built more or less in the same way since 1980. But with every new generation, every new model was better than his predecessor. So this is actually the same situation now with this update. Visually it's okay, like we can see, not so much, but it is a lot of electronic stuff actually that makes the difference between these two models, two generations.
Okay, let's start with the suspension.
The well-known ESA is like before a very good suspension, and now we have this new feature, the automatic leveling of the suspension, which is a great thing if you are riding with different loads.
Okay, so if you're taking your wife on a lot of luggage,
exactly, you don't have to push
the setup for luggage and for two passengers, for a passenger. The bike just keeps its correct level. Also, you noticed something very interesting over there, because now you can't set up anymore the damping onto levels.
Into three actually before, in hard, soft and normal. Now we have just road or dynamic damping mode.
Okay, and
so
on the Enduro?
Enduro is the same thing. You can set it in an Enduro, and actually it's an automatic damping, and you don't have to choose every time soft, normal or hard. So the suspension is doing all the job. You don't need to set up the suspension in many ways, because everything is now automatically controlled.
So the suspension is more refined than before.
Exactly. And you have, actually, off-road is the same old good bike as before. But now we have the dynamic traction control, which makes the bike safer and allows you to ride more aggressive on-road.
On-road, because it has the banking angle, yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah, and the traction control takes the banking angle into account. When cornering and pushing hard on the throttle.
So I would say the bike is, like before, good off-road, but now it's even a better bike on-road and a safer one.
Let's get back to the suspension. This that we have here is not the rally version, it just has a rally color theme.
Yes.
But the actual rally version, the most adventurous GS, comes with a sport suspension, as I know.
Yes, it's a longer one. It's a longer suspension, which allows you, of course, to have more ground clearance and to ride more aggressive off-road.
The braking system is the same.
The braking system, yes,
it's the same and it's very efficient. Okay, let's talk about the braking in the Enduro Pro mode, because everyone talks about the braking system on the road. We know that BMW offers a combined ABS braking system, but you ride often in the Enduro Pro mode. So how does it work? How do you feel it?
So in my opinion, Because we have this link brake system, you can brake only with the front brake, and we have a very efficient braking.
Okay.
So you don't have to touch rear brake pedal.
Okay, so no rear
So
brake, only the front one with 2 fingers.
I use it like this. I use it even with 1 finger, and it's very efficient, and I have no problem off-road to slow the bike.
Okay, so what happens in the Enduro Pro? The rear doesn't lock, the rear locks?
Exactly, you have no ABS on the rear wheel, and on the front wheel you have an ABS, but specially developed for riding off-road with off-road tires.
Even though the guys at BMW didn't put the accent in their statement regarding this bike, on the gearbox, that's something we observed.
Yes, of course, it's not the same gearbox. It is actually a gearbox that finally works. That means it changes gear very, very smooth. You can shift into the first gear without all the neighbors noticing it. Yes, exactly. It's not that clunk anymore, and all the neighbors are...
Yeah. Indeed, I love the gearbox on this model. I don't love the gearbox on my model so much. I've got 2015, this is the 2017. You also can notice that when you push the clutch.
You can push the bike, you can move the bike, even if the bike is in gear.
So a very important upgrade, the gearbox, which is very smooth on this facelift version of the GS. If you are to buy a new GS, which one would be your favorite?
Of course, my favorite would be the rally version, because not only the colors, but also for the longer suspension and for these off-road capabilities. The rally version is very nice because she has this blue frame, like the first R80GS back in 1980.
Yeah. Is there anything that BMW should improve from now on the GS? Have you noticed something that you don't like, or I don't know?
I would say it's a complete bike. In my opinion, if you choose the rally version, I would take the rear brake pedal from the GS Adventure.
Yeah.
This is the only small improvement which I would do if I would ride this BMW Rally.
What about the power of the engine? Is it still enjoyable? Because KTM offers much greater power from its V-twins. Is the BMW GS still able to ride, to be a fun ride?
I would say yes. If you try the dynamic mode, you will see that even if the GS has only 125 horsepower, it's enough fun and it's enough power actually. And like I said, this electronic is very smooth and allows you to ride aggressive, and allows you also to do some wheelies or so do some drifts and skid the rear wheel. So
And
it's enough.
Yes, and be in control. We noticed one thing, because we have over here 2 different sets of tires. Is the K60 Scout on the old version, on the non-facelift version, and is the Conti Twin Duro TKC 80 on this one. You ride both of them. Which are the differences between them?
Actually, the electronic is so good, so you can ride no matter what tire you have. On braking, the ABS is very efficient. On acceleration, also the dynamic traction control is very efficient. So if you have a tire with less grip, like the Scout, you will have the electronic cutting the gas a little bit earlier. But actually, you can ride in the same aggressive mode the bike, because you will be saved by the electronic. So I've noticed no difference between them. Of course, if you have less grip, like the Scout, on braking you have to be careful because it's a longer distance. But anyway, stability you have and confidence you have on both tires.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.